let's see what we have here. The next expression is dar de comer. Dar de comer. Dar, the first part, it's a verb, of course. If you see words in Spanish that end in AR, ER, IR, that's because they're verbs. So that's an easy way to know when you have a verb. Dar means to give, okay? Dar, to give. Dar de is another common phrase / verb, or you can call it similar. It's similar to a phrasal verb that you have the verb where you have a verb and a preposition, and that means to give the same. It's the same. It means to give, but then you add more to the sentence. Okay, dar de, and then ... In this situation, comer, to eat. To give, to eat. What does that mean? We're talking about giving some food, or what does it mean? I know in English what it means, but it's like saying giving food to someone. In this situation, I mean, you know what it means. It means to feed. Oops. To feed. Okay, you're feeding. Could be your pet. It could be someone, because that someone cannot eat, by themselves. So you're feeding someone food. Okay, so we could be talking about babies. We could be talking about pets. We could be talking about a person who cannot feed themselves. So yeah, technically that's what this means. So let's look at some examples. The first one is la mamá le da de comer al bebé. It's really important to have accent marks right here. Mamá, bebé. Okay, so la mamá le da de comer al bebé. This means the mother feeds the baby, or the mom, la mamá, mom. Madre is mother, but let's just change it to be more specific. But essentially, you're talking about a mom feeding a baby. Okay, la mamá. La mamá. La mamá. La mamá means, oh my God, my brush is quite thick. La mamá, the mom. Okay? If you don't add the accent mark, it sounds like you're saying mama. Mama. Mama comes from, I believe, breastfeeding or breastfeed. Okay, so I mean, people in Spanish speakers will understand that you're talking about a mom, but if you want to have great grammar, which is always good, don't forget the accent mark. La mamá, okay, le da de comer, feeds al bebé, the baby. Now, why are we saying al? Okay, we're saying al because when you use dar de comer, you should also include a. Okay, the preposition a. One sec. What am I doing here? I'm just I'm confused with all the brushes. But when you say dar de comer a, you're saying you're feeding, and then you add the noun. It could be a baby or a pet or a person, right? So dar de comer a. And we have al because technically you're saying él. bebé. So, la mamá le da de comer a el bebé. But remember, in Spanish, we cannot have a él. Okay, it's a thing. It's part of the grammar. You can't have a él. When you see a él, what you need to do is remove the letter E and make it al. So you're changing pretty much, you're getting two words together, and that becomes al bebé. La mamá le da de comer al bebé. Now, that is one important thing. The other thing is le. Okay, we have these pronouns in Spanish that we love to put like in the middle of the subject and the action. So sometimes it's in a reflexive way. Me lavo las manos. Me is another pronoun, but in this situation we have le. So essentially you're saying ella le da de comer. So you kind of need this pronoun. If you don't have it, la mamá da de comer al bebé, it's okay. You can say it. If you want to keep it really simple, you can say it like this. But you might hear someone saying le da. La mamá le da de comer. Okay, and that is also okay. It's a more complex way to say pretty much the same thing, and I just wanna let you know how it works. La mamá le da. Okay, I can change this to yo le doy. So you know how it works. Yo le doy, and this means I feed the baby. Okay, so le stays there. You can change the pronoun. So you have technically, the formula is pronoun, personal pronoun, le doy de comer, or le dar de comer. In this situation, that's the formula. Yo, personal pronoun, then the other pronoun le, dar de comer. Okay, so that's how it works. Let's see different examples so you understand. So let's change this to tú. Tú le das de comer al bebé. Okay, and we're using this le because we're talking about a baby. Okay, tú le das de comer al bebé. If I change this to bebés, maybe more than one baby, well, we will have to change everything here. A los, because we're not saying a él, we're saying a los now. You can say tú le das de comer a los bebés. That's correct. You can keep it like that, le. But if we change this to plural, nosotros le damos de comer a los bebés. So that is longer, but this is plural, and this means we are feeding, or we feed the babies. Okay, the babies. Nosotros les damos, and sometimes you will have this as well. It's a bunch of different ways that you can say the same thing, but some people, keep le all the time. Some people say les. Nosotros, this is a more correct way because we're saying, bebés, plural, and then we have plural pronoun, les. And also plural here. Nosotros les damos. We are feeding, or we feed the baby. So this is it's a more advanced Spanish, but just keep that in mind that this can be le or les. Okay, so if it's plural, usually when you say yo, for example, if you say yo les damos de comer a los bebés, that doesn't make sense. So you gotta have singular even though you have plural bebés, right? Yo le doy de comer a los bebés. But if you have nosotros, it's very, very common that you will have les. Nosotros les damos de comer a los bebés. Okay, so sometimes this can change. Sometimes, obviously, this can change. If it's only one baby, al bebé. Nosotros les damos de comer al bebé. That sounds weird. Nosotros le damos de comer al bebé. So sometimes le can be affected by the baby, but by this indirectly. And sometimes this affects le. But usually when everything is plural, keep everything plural. When everything is singular, keep everything singular. And when you have plural and singular, it's very likely that you will say le. Nosotros le damos de comer al bebé. That's what I wanted to say. I know sometimes grammatically can be odd, but I mostly teach you how people use Spanish commonly, okay? So how Spanish speakers speak the language, speak Spanish. And sometimes, you know, grammatically might be incorrect, but that's how Spanish speakers speak. You know, they have mistakes as well. And there's like cultural situations where they change words a little bit. So it's very interesting to know that. Okay. The next example, oh my God, I've been talking about this example for so long. Okay, so the next example is María le da de comer a los patos. María le da de comer a los patos. This means Maria feeds the ducks. Once again, we have le. María le da de comer a los patos. So something also very important, obviously, is that you need to know the conjugation of the verb dar, to give. And we have the verb here and here, conjugated, of course. And de comer a, you can keep it obviously the way it is, but you need to know the conjugation. This is going to change for sure. María means Maria, of course. Again, we have the pronoun le da de comer, okay? Feeds. Remember to keep a, to add a. Le da de comer a. Who? Los patos. Who is Maria feeding? The ducks, right? Los patos. Los patos. María le da de comer a los patos. María feeds the ducks. Really, really easy. Nothing too complicated there. If you're talking about someone is feeding you because, I don't know, you can't use your hands for some reason, you can say María, instead of le, me da de comer. You don't need to add anything else. María me da de comer. And that is similar to saying María is or feeds me, is feeding me. Well, let's keep it more accurate. María feeds me. Yeah, that's essentially what you're saying. So María me da de comer. We change le to me. Okay, so it's very important to know those pronouns, those little pronouns, le, me, te. So I have a lesson about that. Please feel free to browse my channel. But we can practice that because I know that those pronouns can be tricky. María me da de comer. María feeds me or is feeding me. You can also say a mí, but that's more complicated. You're saying pretty much you, I twice, right? So in English is simpler, but in Spanish it can get complicated. María me da de comer a mí. So María is feeding me or is giving some food to me. To me, a mí is similar to saying to me, okay? So yeah, it can get complicated. Anyways, dar de comer a means to feed, and then, well, obviously you add the person or the animal. Excellent.